Sure. Okay, great. So lovely to be here. And really, I think it's an important topic with regards to upskilling and how we're doing things. Thank you for the invitation to share the journey that we're on right now, which is really the people are at the heart of what we're building and doing. So I would say that for a very long time, I've believed that there is a new way of doing things. And ultimately, as entrepreneurs, we can get to experiment. And the only reason I've really ended up where I am is because there has been a huge challenge over the years, pre-metaverse, pre-AI, pre all of these things that we have at our fingertips now, with regards to talent and people and how we really give people a chance in the workplace and prepare them. So quite excited to know that through those problems, we've reached a point where we're able to innovate. And I think what's different between now and maybe 20 years ago is we are now able to build tools which are able to reach people regardless of their location. So this is pretty powerful when you're thinking about upskilling and developing people and talent, because I think for a long time, it always starts really with education. Education is by far the first thing that someone has to be able to have access to. And by education, I don't necessarily mean universities. I mean like being able to speak and be able to write the basics that are required for the workplace. So my name is Sahiqa Bennett. I've been an entrepreneur for over 15 years now, and I'm very passionate about looking at human behavior and how people perform, whether it's in the workplace or whether it's outside of work, but how people are in terms of personality. And I think bringing some of those, I call them super soft skills. They're not even soft skills, but they're incredible because they really are the difference when it comes to attitude. And if people are able to have access to things that enable learning in a new way, I believe that we're able to reach a far bigger audience, not just globally, but also some people are different kinds of learners. And I see it with my children. I remember being at school and not really feeling that I was that excited about the lessons, which involved the teacher talking. I was really excited about the practical things. I loved sports. I loved arts. I loved things that I could do and learn. And I think this is a really important aspect because changing the experience of how education is taught and enhance that experience is really quite special, because I think if we're able to bring things into the 3D world, which are maybe traditional still, right? So the technology and everything and the solutions that we're building and the programs very much include the teachers. They include even the current education. What we're looking to do is enhance the system so that people are able to learn. And I'll give you an example with some of those by sharing my screen, and I'll go through some of the things that I'm talking about when it comes to virtual reality and 3D and the metaverse. And so if we can bring people to a level where there is accelerated growth in terms of how fast they go from A to Z and how much they pick up during that process, I think this potentially is game changing. And I've spoken to many people over the years and interviewed thousands of people, by the way. And one thing I always find that strikes me is that even with the best education, the work readiness seems to be missing. There almost is you have to start working to then get the experience, that to then know how things are. And even then, there are people who are very experienced in their career who now are at threat of losing their jobs. And I feel for these people. So we're working closely with governments to really enable and bring out that untapped potential to make sure that everybody gets a chance. It doesn't really matter if they are a graduate, if they are a child at school, they need to be learning and ready for the future. We need to be bringing things in that we need for the world much earlier into the education system. Why are children still being taught in a way where the teachers are talking at them and they're getting bored? And these days, children are exposed to gaming and I truly believe that technology for the good of humanity, gaming for the good of people, like this is really powerful and doable. And I think the results will be quite exciting when we see the impact that it can make on the learning part. So I think, you know, right through to the life cycle of a human being, if you like, that's really the area which takes a collaborative effort. So we're working with governments, and most governments across the world are tackling issues which are either to do with a youth problem, so they have a lot of 70% of people, 80% young, or they're dealing with an aging population. Now, if people get eliminated from the workplace just because of their age, not their ability or their attitude, these can be just, again, the government is then having to fund them, or people are going to be in poverty. And when people are in these type of circumstances, mental health declines, people are not able to pay their bills and facilitate things, right? So the impact on the countries and the governments is actually, if we take a more proactive approach together and collaborate, we're able to make sure that society has a chance, and these people are actually caught in time before they deteriorate and are not, you know, in this place that they shouldn't be. So I really believe that the proactive side of what we're taking is really enabling people. So I will share with you some of the ways that we are tackling these, so that you're able to have a look and see for yourself. And I think that this really is where we're able to, let me just have a look, just show you. Right, so here is, can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, great. So here's an example of a heart, right? So you're having a biology lesson at school. All of this is without a headset, so you don't need the typical headset. I can move my head in to the call, right? While this is happening, I bring my hand up. Then what you can do is then you can actually put your hand over and turn the heart around. And this is all with just a laptop and a camera. And what this enables to do is bring the experience to life in terms of the biology side. And imagine if a teacher was teaching their students in this way and able to show this, right? This is pretty, hopefully pretty powerful. So that's one example. Another example that I have that I can share with you is also how we are going to be upskilling 1 million people. So in this environment here, this is the carousel. So again, if you do this, these are the presentations that will come up. This is the upskilling side. And what this is able to do is allow us to bring the screen and the presentation up, and people can have a look. And this could be the teacher in the class giving the talk. This can also be, this will be us, like teachers and tutors will be in this environment that we have. And we can have thousands of people here. This is a metaverse environment, all without the headset. So as we're doing this, the screen is then changing and the slides are changing. So we're creating more immersive experiences. And it's really these type of experiences which will shape the future. If you look at how things are done. Oh, sorry, let me just get back to my call with you guys. Over here. Right, great. So if we look at how these virtual environments are going to be making an impact, not just, you know, early on with children, with teachers in the classroom. Homework. My children hate doing homework. Imagine they could do their homework on a cool screen and they're drawing and they're doing they're learning. They're still learning their spellings. They're still learning their maths, but they're doing it in a more immersive way, which is important. The experiences make people feel the subjects. They make them feel ready for the workplace. If you can put people in various scenarios, whether that is someone who's learning AI courses, we are looking at putting people in scenarios so they get to utilize their knowledge in a practical sense. And again, that's the gap that I see right now, is the work readiness. And that's what we are looking to fulfill with these tools. And I think that if we can reach, we'll probably reach more than 1 million people, I hope. And now there's plenty of people out there who are sick of sending their CV and not hearing back, not getting a job, not even getting an interview. And even when they get an interview, it's pot luck whether they get the job or not. So people, again, take it. My advice would be to people like who are looking for work or are looking to have a bit of an advantage, take the learning into your hands. There are so many resources out there. We will be facilitating, we're going to be making some announcements soon, so watch this space. But we're welcoming people to come into the program, take it in your hands, to learn, to upskill yourself. And we're going to be also developing soft skills through this process, because I don't think many people realize how important their personality can be in the workplace. So a lot of conflict and things that you see in the workplace are caused because of personality traits, right? And if we can be more self-aware that, okay, this is me, and we all have a default, but there's also a potential to develop some of those soft skills, awareness. And if we can bring that into our children at a younger age, which is what we are going to be doing, I think that self-awareness is really going to also make a difference. And ultimately, people know they can do a job, right? Even the ones that are experienced, but the frustration comes when they don't get the chance. And I think from the other side of the table, which is also where I've been hiring and interviewing people myself over the years, and it is hard because you don't have time to go through endless CVs. You don't have time to do 100 interviews, inviting people to centers. I almost feel like it's a circus. The current situation is appalling for where we need to be. The future has just flown, right? And it's taken us into this new world, yet the system and the processes and the tools are still behind. We have pieces here and there, but not together. So really what we're looking to do is be like an end-to-end and make sure that no one has to look for a job again. And companies can also have a less stressful process of finding the people. So by creating this virtual environment, you really are putting people in a scenario that hopefully when they face in the real life, in the real world, when they do join, they know how to handle it. They know what to do. They're more prepared. And I think some of this, especially with the youth and the younger people, or even people who need to be reskilled, a lot of it is down to confidence. I think a lot of people don't know where to start and need some guidance. And I've seen people come from very different backgrounds and they've turned into absolute superstars. So it's been a great journey. And I think most people just need that chance. And if they're given that chance, they are able to do really well. And guess what? They are normally your most loyal employees. They are normally the ones that work so hard and give so much. And if we can look at more of that, imagine the impact in the countries. Imagine a society where you have very low unemployment. Imagine people are actually feeling happy about the jobs that they're doing. The impact is very exciting. And I think that this is really comes all down to proactively planning. And this is where the government's, the collaborative effort has to happen and is happening. And Saudi Arabia is a great example of a country which has innovated itself and is running towards the future with some very serious projects that are going on there. So if anybody is not aware, Saudi Arabia has reinvented itself. They're building a lot of really exciting places. Neom is a city which is an AI powered, not even a city, it's a whole area of Saudi Arabia which is completely being redeveloped, and it's an AI powered place, city, and a massive environment hopefully, and it's going to change the way people live and work. They want people to experience things that are very futuristic. So imagine being part of that. The great thing is that these massive projects that Saudi Arabia has are creating jobs. Right? They're creating jobs that are not boring. They're creating exciting jobs. The vision is the global 2030 vision. So there have been a number of milestones that have already been set, that by 2030 they are going to be having, high tourism, for example. They've got some goals to attract more people. So they've developed the Red Sea Global is a company which has several islands and incredible facilities again. And this is to attract people to the country. And guess what? That also is beneficial to the country and to the people. So one powerful country that is doing some incredible things actually benefits multiple countries around the world by being open to solutions, by then creating jobs that people can come in or do remotely. And really, that is setting the example of what a proactive policy looks like and what a proactive vision looks like. And it's very exciting to see the developments. And we've got some really brilliant things happening there, and the people are willing to learn, they want to learn, they're excited to learn, and it's a very new world. When you're accelerating into the future now and you're putting things in place, it also means citizens are not doing boring jobs, right? Some of those boring jobs may exist and people may want to do those jobs, but when I go to a supermarket now, I see more machines that for paying, my groceries and everything. Less and less people are behind the counter. And yeah, sometimes I like the human element. I like to speak to someone. I like to engage. Other times I'm in a rush. I need to get my groceries and run out the store. And the efficiency of these processes is, again, enabling us to live and work in a new way. So I think it's the balance. I think we do need to be careful that the balance doesn't tip too much the other way, where everything is virtual and too far away from reality and it has no purpose. So everything that we do at Metaverse Academy, throughout our products that we're building, is really about a purpose. It's really aligned with the human potential, the untapped potential that a human being has. And by unleashing that potential, we're able to have a work-ready person. And we're able to also help these people that really want to learn in new ways. So I think, again, having the balance is important, making sure that whatever is being developed even in the future doesn't remove like the purpose too much, right? My kids love playing games, and I look at the behaviors and things that are being encouraged in our children. Fight that person, shoot that person, do this, get ahead. Guess what? The world is not supposed to be like that. The world should be about collaboration, adaptability, emotional intelligence, leadership. These are the super soft skills that I want to see more in the workplace, and I want my children to be learning more. That's why we've taken it into our own hands to develop 3D games for children that can be implemented across the schools as part of the digital curriculum. Children have this beautiful way of having an open mind. They don't have the preconceptions that most of us adults further on have, right? So if they have these brains, let's try to nurture those with things which really are engaging and powerful and positive and technology for good. And by doing this, if we could impact 1 million people, well, guess what? It's not just 1 million people that we're upskilling or getting ready for the workplace. It's probably 10 million, because it affects all of the people that they're able to take along the way, the families they're looking after. Some countries look after generations, right? They look after their parents and their children and themselves. So there's a whole ecosystem around the power of how, if one person is ready, how that supports society. Do we have any questions that anybody has?
Yep. See any questions from the audience? Maybe one question from me first.
Sure.
Yeah. So as the technology is keep changing, and I think the job market or all the things nowadays, especially the AI technology, the job market and what they can do is keep changing all the times. So in these situations, what is your advice to the young people, like how they can better prepare themselves as more future ready?
Yeah, it's a great question actually, and I think that some of it I touched on a little bit about, like, proactively take your learning into your hands, set yourself apart. Sometimes it's just the attitude. It could be just the attitude, but I know the beginning part of applying a job is hard, or staying relevant. So look at the trends, because right now everyone is talking about AI, but 80% of AI requires domain knowledge of the industry or the job that you're going into, right? That's the most important thing. If you don't know what you're looking to solve, right, in a company that is looking to utilize AI, that's why the first question that I have is, what is your goal? What are you looking to achieve? What is causing you a headache? What's really painful as a business? Now, if you walk into an environment, you get a job, again, those questions, that curiosity, that understanding, that learning from the people that are more experienced, right? Reach out to those people, offer to just, be shadowed. Like, can I take a project, right? So just offer your services. Can I do this for a day or two? Is there something that I can help you with, right? So look at the companies that you admire, that you'd like to work with. Look up some of the people that are working there. Offer, like, if you can learn more about it, by proactively taking these steps. And like I say, some of these, I hope, as we roll out our programs globally, we're able to reach countries all around the world, because I call them virtual internships. I want anyone, anywhere, to be able to get a job if they want to work. Right? I'm not in that situation now, unfortunately, because, like I say, we are preparing and we're getting everything ready. But instatalent.ai, which is a platform that we have, this is going to be open to anybody. You can come, you can register, you can set yourself up that I'm interested, I want to learn, I want a job. Right? This is early access that we're going to be releasing soon. Now, that's your first point, because if you are on the radar of a company like us, we can help you, right? And I think it's about researching, finding out what things exist out there, and then proactively planning. But one thing I would say is that don't give up. Like, do not give up. Don't give up to the first no, the first rejection, whether it's for a job, whether it's a company, or even if you're experienced. Don't give up. And just, and by that I don't mean hassle people or hound them, because that's harassment. Right? What I mean is, don't give up in yourself. Like, believe in your abilities. Believe. And if you don't have the learning, learn. There are so many resources out there. And like I say, keep an eye on what we're doing. I'd love to have people involved. Like, we want to reach you, we want to engage with you, we want to get you up to speed. But aside us, just try to take it into your hands and learn. Talk to your friends. You'll be shocked at how many of your friends could have some good connections and links. Get out of your comfort zone. Stop waiting for this to float out of the ceiling and land in your lap. Nothing happens like that in life. You've got to go out and get it yourself in a way which is elegant, right? Not kind of hounding people. But I think that's my advice, is talk to people. You'll be surprised at how, when you keep an open mind, how many people can actually help you and are willing to help you, and build that network. Because that is probably one of the most powerful things that I've learned from my years of just being myself, is how incredible those people have been at a time where I really needed them, right? Or if I reached out. So don't worry that you don't know everything. Don't worry that you're not an expert. Like, I'm not an expert. I'm doing something that I love, and I'm taking a huge risk by doing it. But I believe in people just being authentic and trust. If you have this feeling inside that you really want to develop something or be someone, you can do it. The only person that's stopping you normally is you.
Yeah, I think it's really great advice. And I also really look forward to the launch of the platform, and we can also help to share as well.
Sure.
So so if no other questions from the audience, then I think that's all for this session. And thank you so much for your sharing and the time. And I really agree that the youth should especially in this AI trend or these situations, they should there's a lot of opportunities, and once they can take the first step and then they try to ask more people and try something new, then they can create the opportunities by themselves.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. And I was saying to everybody that AI right now is a great place to get into. You can learn, get into it, keep an eye on what we're doing. I'd love to help. Like, there's a million of you out there who are stuck. Come and learn about AI, right? We'd love to get you upskilled and ready for the workplace in a very short amount of time. It's not a 1 year, 2 year course, right? It's a very short amount of time and get you up to speed, and then hopefully get you on that track. If you take that first step, right, you need to do the first bit. We can't do anything to force you to do that, right? But good luck, everyone, and I hope you're all working out your next steps.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Thanks.